So in this video, we are going to learn about ordered list. Lastly, we saw how to create an ordered list. The syntax for creating ordered list was OL, then we write LI, and here we'll write monitor. Let's create one more LI, that is CPU, and the last one, call it monitor. So now here you can see the sequence is numeric, that is 1 2 3, and we didn't have to write anything to get this sequence in numeric order. Okay, it was inbuilt. But what if instead of 1 2 3 I want ABC, or let's say I want Roman numerals to be displayed here? So we can do that by using attributes in HTML. So what is an attribute and how do we write an attribute? Attribute is if you want to change some property inside HTML, we use an attribute. And the syntax to write an attribute is you go to the tag that you want the change to happen. Suppose here we want to change the OL tag. So you hit space after OL, you write the attribute name. So the attribute we are going to use is type. Then you give us equal to and double quotes, and inside the double quotes you write what you want to have, what property you want to change, or what value you want to be displayed. So suppose I want ABC here, so I'll write small a. So now here you can see instead of 1 2 3 I'm getting small ABC or lowercase ABC. Now if you write uppercase a, then you can see you are getting uppercase ABC instead of lowercase ABC. Now what if I want Roman numerals? So for Roman numerals I just have to write I. So if I write lowercase I, you can see lowercase Roman numerals. If I write capital I, you can see uppercase Roman numerals. Okay, so that was it. And if you guys are using Atom, let me just show you this thing. So if you write TY and you just hit enter, you can see you didn't have to write it completely. It was just shown to you. I'll show you again. So write TY, you can see a type attribute local to OL tags. Just hit enter and you can see all the values that we input. You see I, small I, uppercase I, and then AB, and all the options that we used. So you can just go ahead and click on any of them and it will be displayed here. So if you want to try this out for yourself and see if it works, just pause the video here, try it out for yourself and see if it's working for you. Okay, so now we'll move to the next part of the video, that is adding image to our HTML tag. So for doing that, the syntax is opening tag, then write image, then give space, and then we'll use the src attribute, that is the source attribute local to image tag. So now we hit enter and you can see equal to and double quotes have appeared. So now what do we write here? So in this source attribute, we write the path of the file or the path of the image that we want to be displayed on our HTML web page. So now on the left side of the screen you can see I've already created a folder called images and I've already added an image to it. So what will be the path of the file here if it is in the same HTML folder? Now in the HTML folder, images and index.html are on the same level. The hierarchical level of both of these are same. So the path of the image will be images followed by a slash and then in the name of the image, that is 631.596.jpg, and before even closing the tag you can see the images appeared. Okay, but this image covers the entire screen. Now what if some of you don't want this image to cover the entire screen? So what we can do is after this source attribute we can just hit space and we'll give another attribute, that is width. You can see width attribute local to image tag. Just click on enter, you can see width. Now just give it a width, let's say width of 500 pixels. Okay, now we'll also give it a height. This is another attribute and we'll also give it a height of 500 pixels. So now you can see your image is 500 meter in width and 500 meter in height. Okay, and now it is not covering the entire screen. Now the next part that I want to talk about is the alt attribute. So what is an alt attribute and what does it do? Okay, so I'll just write here dear image. Okay, so now what if someone is using a screen reader that reads line by line through your website? Okay, but when it comes to this image it cannot read anything because there's nothing to read, it's just a normal image. So there, that's where the alt attribute is used. The screen reader, when it comes to this image, it will read whatever is inside this alt attribute. Okay. So now let me just show you. I'll just delete this. And now here you can see what I've written inside this alt attribute is displayed here. So when the screen reader comes to your image, instead of reading nothing, it will read this whatever is written inside alt attribute. And now we'll go ahead and close this image tag. And image is a self-closing tag, so you do not need another image tag to close it. Okay. So I will suggest that you should use this alt attribute almost every time you use an image, because it helps a lot when your user base is, you want all types of user to use your website. Now we have added an image when the image was in the same folder and we knew where the image was. But now what if you want to add an image from the internet? So for that we'll use, in the source we'll just go to Google, and suppose I've already opened up a few images, and now we'll see all the images we want to use. Now let's select this image. Now here we'll go to the option called copy image address. Then we'll go back to atom, and in the source we'll paste the address that we have copied. Now here you can see the image here has appeared. This image we have used from the internet, and in alt attribute I'll write sky image. Okay. Now again this image is covering the whole width and whole height of our web page. So we'll again add width attribute. We'll give it a height of 500 pixels, and also give it a height of 500 pixels. This pixels is a measurement unit used in HTML. There are also other units, but this is the most widely used unit for measurement. Okay, now you can see this image is also 500 meter in height and 500 meter in width. Now we'll just close this image tag. Okay. So now we saw two ways to add an image to our HTML web page. The first was when we know where the image is, we have already created a folder and we have added an image in it. So we use this path. But if you want to use an image from the internet, then instead of using this path, you use the source, copying the address of the image and then pasting it into source so that you can use the image from internet. Now there are a few things. See, if you want your website to load fast, then you should always use this width and height attribute. Okay, because if your image is too large, then it may take too much of time for your website to load. Suppose if someone has a low speed of internet, then loading this image, complete image, will take a lot of time for him. But if you always specify the width and height of the image, then your web page or website will load faster. Now there are three formats of images that we can use. And what are the three formats? So the first format is JPEG. Now the second format you can use is PNG. And the third format you can use is GIF. These are the three types of format that you can use to display an image on your website. Other than these three, there are no other formats that you can use. So make sure when you're using an image, you're using one of these three images format. Okay. Now the next part will be, just close this body tag. And next part is, okay, so now what if you want to group multiple images together? Now I added two images, but they were separate. What if I want to add images side by side, or I want to create a group of images? So we'll use figure tag. Okay, and we'll close this figure tag. This is the syntax for figure tag: opening and a closing brace. And inside this figure tag, we'll write the images that we want to add. So the syntax will be image src. Now we'll add this image again, 631596.jpg. We'll add width, sorry, it will be images slash. Now we'll add width of 500 pixels. We'll add height of 500 pixels. We'll also add an alt attribute, as I said, alt, let's say dear image, and now we'll close this image tag. Now let's add one more image from the internet, the same image. So we'll again copy the image address, we'll again paste it here, give it a width 500 px, give it a height again of 500 px. We'll again give it a alt attribute, and we'll write sky image, and we'll close this image tag. Now these both images, you can see there's a difference when we last time we created an image tag and this time. You can see this spacing on the left side and the right side of the screen, and these both images are grouped together. This image, both image work as one unit. Now let me just show you the difference. I'll cut these image tags and I'll paste it out of figure tag. Here you can see the margin, there's no margin on the left side, and these both image work as individual unit. They are not grouped together, but as soon as we use them inside our figure tag, they are grouped together. You can see there's also margin on the top, margin on the left, and margin on the right, which is being formed and which has been given to them. Now they are used as one unit. Okay, now one more option that I like to show you is fig caption. Syntax is fig caption. Let me just show you fig caption. Okay, so inside this fig caption, whatever you write will be displayed below the image. So I'll write deer and sky image. So now if you just scroll down to the bottom of this, here you can see deer and sky image. So it's like a caption to our images. So you can also use the fig caption tag, or you can also use the alt attribute, because in alt attribute, if someone is using a screen reader, it will read out aloud deer image and sky image. The same work is done by fig caption. When it comes down here, it will read deer and sky image, so that the user knows that we are using deer and a sky image. So this was pretty much it about the images tag. That's it for this video. If you guys want to try it out, just pause and try it out and see if it works for you, and if it doesn't, just write in comment section what isn't working and I'll help you out. Okay, that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next video.